I see something over here. I see the Act Man comparing XDefiant with Call of Duty. So, this is where I stand with XDefiant. The core aspect of like the core mechanic and gameplay of XDefiant is good. I like it. But then everything else around it that attaches to it is just not that great, you know? I feel like the grinding is a little bit too excessive, right? For some game modes and stuff like that, right? Because apparently in order for you to upgrade your weapon or so, you have to play this specific game mode if you want to upgrade your weapon. You know, it's just like, maybe I don't want to play that game mode, you know? Maybe I'm just not feeling it. Maybe I just want to play, you know, escort, you know? Or just play a domination, or play a whatever it is. I don't know what the other one is. It's just capture the objective and it just pushes it back or so to their spawn area or something, whatever you want to call it. So occupy, I think that's what it is or so, right? It's just sometimes I just don't want to play, you know, maybe I don't want to play domination. Maybe I just want to play escort, you know? Maybe I think escort is pretty cool. Maybe I don't want to play escort, and maybe I just want to go play, you know, occupy, right? But the problem is like in some of the game modes, right? Like it just takes way too long to upgrade a weapon. And then there's some YouTubers or so that specifically said that, hey, if you wanna upgrade your weapon, if you wanna level up your weapon fast, you have to play this game mode in order for you. I get like fucking 5 or 6 levels or 7 levels or so, you know, in this specific game mode, and it's kind of like, it's like, I don't want to though. I really don't. That's why. And then also at the same time, it's like I get one of the things too specifically that I disliked about it or so is that the weapons that at least like the base weapons with no attachments or anything like that, I just lose my gunfights every single time. Almost like what, 85-90% of the time I lose my gunfight. Specifically, the only way I ever like get some kills or so if I catch them off guard, you know, while either they're reloading or they have their back turned or doing something else, you know, or shooting someone else, you know. That's the only time is where mostly I get some kills. But 9 times out of 10 when I'm facing a 1-to-1 in front of me or so, 9 times out of 10 I always lose every single gunfight just because they have like the attachments that they need for their gun to be like insanely overpowered, you know, or as strong, not overpowered, but as strong as it needs to be, you know, compared to me who doesn't have any attachments, and I'm just barely starting the game, and then, well, they just sweep the floor out of me. It's just kind of like me just sitting in, like, I'm just basically sitting there as like just a sitting duck, you know. I can't do anything, so it's just kind of like, okay, all right. I'll be very interested to see what the Act Man has to say about XDefiant and Call of Duty specifically.
What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here, and today Call of Duty might finally have some real competition. You know, as a Halo fan, that sentence just made me a little sad. However, for the last 3 years, a new first-person shooter had been lurking in the shadows, but rumors of development trouble had circled the web. The release date kept getting pushed back, and then in April of 2023, a closed beta test saw this game surprisingly grab more viewers on Twitch than Call of Duty, and we started hearing the phrase COD killer again. I'm talking about XDefiant, a game developed and released by Ubisoft with the former executive producer of Call of Duty up until 2015.
Nice.
I know, the deal's sounding a little better. Mark Rubin was the executive producer at Infinity Ward, so he oversaw production of all of the Call of Duty games that we consistently, you know, all the games that we've held up to this gold standard. And when you have a guy like that, it immediately draws my attention. Even more so when apparently 1 million people logged in to play XDefiant within 2.5 hours of its launch. And while naturally free-to-play games will get more players,
yeah,
that's pretty good. Now, what is XDefiant in a nutshell? Well, it's a fast-paced 6v6 multiplayer shooter with maps and operators from Ubisoft's other franchises. You'll immediately notice the similarities it has to the core of Call of Duty, and it's clear they're trying to innovate on that classic formula. And
you know, I'm kind of surprised, right? I'm kind of surprised because you know, they're using like other like IPs or so in their other Ubisoft games. I'm surprised they didn't put like the main character or so in any of these games, you know? Like like from the DedSec, right? From the DedSec what is it? The DedSec faction or so in XDefiant, right? Because it's supposed to be Watch Dogs, right? I'm just surprised they didn't do this one. What's his name? Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do this main character, right? And also this one as well. This guy. I'm surprised he's not even in there. You know, this dude. I think this would have been so cool to see this guy in the game, you know, with his cool fucking like his weird little goggle thing that changes freaking text and stuff like that. I think that would have been so cool to see that. I'm surprised they didn't even do that personally. I don't know anything about the XDefiant, to be honest. There's not really any iconic characters in XDefiant. I mean, not XDefiant, fucking Division. My bad, sorry. But yeah, I'm surprised they didn't add this guy. This would have been so cool to see this guy. I know this guy. I know this guy, and I know this guy, right? From the box art, of course. You know, I haven't played the game, but when you tell me about Watch Dogs 2, this guy comes into mind immediately, and then the other dude, like the main character on the card art or so for the game. That's why, you know.
While this makes the game instantly recognizable, easy to grasp, this also means that XDefiant has some identity issues, which we'll talk about later on. Basically, XDefiant is an answer, a solution, a prayer answered to longtime Call of Duty fans who have been exhausted with the franchise lately. The Call of Duty veterans, if you will, veterans. People like me who shake their fist in the air and say, back in my day when characters were killed, they stayed dead. With XDefiant making waves, there's been a sort of renaissance with Call of Duty YouTubers. But why is that? Today, I'll be answering these questions and the biggest question of all. Can XDefiant compete with Call of Duty? This video is sponsored by XDefiant. Now, if you have some concerns about that, I understand. And this is not a full review of XDefiant. The game is free to play, so if you don't want to take my word for it, you can hop in and try it out yourself. Now, I think if you've watched any of my Call of Duty reviews and you resonate with the things I like and don't like about Call of Duty, how the series has progressed over the years, if you enjoy those reviews, I think you'll most likely enjoy XDefiant, and you will certainly enjoy this video. And yes, we will be talking.
I actually prefer XDefiant in the first beta. I enjoyed it a lot more in the first beta. I put in like 20 hours or so in the first beta. That's how you know I actually did enjoy and love the game. Even my friend Sage or so, who played it with me at the first beta, it was ridiculously fun, you know. And then of course I played, you know, the later on betas and then the open test server that they did recently or so with the game. And I just did not like it personally, getting shot around the fucking corner. When I even played the game on release or so, I even still had that too as well. I got shot around the corner too as well. So it was just kind of like, okay, all right, cool, that makes sense.
Talking about the monetization. Thankfully, you cannot purchase any weapon or equipment with real money. So right off the bat, there's not a trace of any pay to win nonsense. Let's talk gameplay. How does XDefiant feel? It definitely feels like classic older Call of Duty games.
Yes, it does.
Now I streamed my first time
really
playing
good.
XDefiant
I really do,
completely
but
blind, zero expectations, and I was pleasantly surprised. Oh my god! Oh! Almost with the quad. Almost with the quad, bro. The fast-paced combat and movement is solid for the most part. The weapons all feel great, and would you look at that? They even got the right names for them. It's always nice to see that. And that's the thing, XDefiant almost feels like it was made to address a lot of criticisms around COD. For example, there has always been a love-hate relationship with kill streaks, and XDefiant doesn't have any.
Oh my goodness!
Coincidentally, you also can't go prone. What does this do?
Dude, if they would have had if XDefiant would have had prone in it, oh my god, I probably would like it a little bit more, to be honest. I would have liked XDefiant a little bit more if it had prone. I really do like it sometimes where you can drop shot or so. It's because it's so funny to do it every single time.
Well, it gets rid of the age-old strategy of camping in a single spot like an asshole, but it also gets rid of drop shotting. Sometimes these things are fine in Call of Duty, but not having these things in XDefiant makes the game more approachable, casual, and laid back. No kill streaks.
Casual? Shit, man. What kind of lobbies are you playing? Shit, man, I gotta fight against people who bunny hop all the damn time. What the fuck? Yo, what kind of lobby do you have where you fight a bunch of casuals? Shit, where the fuck is that at? I have not met anything like that.
You know, you might think that doesn't sound very fun, but it makes playing the objective way more enjoyable because you're incentivized to. Call of Duty has always
Try to tell that to the randoms. Try to tell that to the randoms when, you know, when they don't play the objective, you know.
had an issue with prioritizing individual efforts and not really encouraging teamwork. Why? Because unlocking skins and getting kill streaks is often more fun than winning the match. That is both a testament to COD's amazing progression, but it can also make matches suck ass when nobody is playing to win. XDefiant addresses this directly in an attempt to bring back the casual fun of COD, reduce the sweating in lobbies.
Excuse me? Reduce the sweatiness in lobbies? Whoa, man, what kind of XDefiant lobbies are you playing? Because for the love of peep sakes, man, when I was playing it, during the time when I was playing it, dude, it was fucking sweat fest in there. Honestly, it was a complete sweat fest. I was keep fighting these specific people. It was crazy, to be honest.
You know, we're not at the gym. We don't need to perspirate this much, okay? They want to remove the toxic builds, the cheap strategies. XDefiant has a longer time to kill, and I usually prefer that because it means firefights are less determined by who shot first. XDefiant is taking a more casual, arcade approach to things. Take movement, for example. It's pretty fast. Nothing too crazy, but it's also not.
What the fuck? What do you mean not crazy? Okay, alright. Man, dude. What kind of people are you fighting that they like move like normal? Fuck, I had to fight bunny hopping, sliding, jumping, and moving in the, like, changing their aerial direction kind of type of people. Like, those were the people I had to fight against. What the hell? Oh my, okay.
Not as heavy and grounded as a more realistic modern shooter would be. XDefiant is not perfect though. One of the biggest balancing problems is movement. Now, we all like to go fast and hit the zoomies and outmaneuver other players, but if bunny hopping and movement exploits become the meta, the thing that defines skill, XDefiant may not end up being so casual. I found a perfect—
Dude, that shit is not casual off the bat, dude. I didn't even play it on the day of release, right? I didn't play XDefiant on the day of the release. I played it like what is it, like a week after or so, because I was playing Withering Waves, of course, you know, because, you know, Withering Waves, I was more excited, you know, and it came out on the same week as XDefiant. Of course I'm gonna play fucking Withering Waves. Shit, man. I fucking played it like the week right after, and I got completely punished because I didn't unlock any of the guns or anything like that, you know, or the attachments. But like everyone else has already unlocked the attachments and all this other shit, you know? I'm getting constantly beat down every single time, right? Just because I don't have the attachments for some of my guns, right? That I want to play. But they do. Like they have the attachments for their guns and I don't. And I constantly get beaten down consistently because of it. I have lost so many gunfights in that game that I probably should have won. At least most of them, at least like 60 or 70% of them, but I've kept losing every single one of them, but it's whatevs, you know?
Perfect clip from Reddit to illustrate exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, it looks a little silly, doesn't it? What's really silly is mid-air strafing, like jumping this way,
there's
but
mid-air
changing
the strafing, yeah,
in the middle of a jump, almost like it's a double jump. This makes it really hard to like pin someone down or be able to predict which way they're going. He also jumps 5 times in 3 seconds. This is something players do in like every firefight. They just constantly bounce and you're like, well, shit, should I be doing that too? It's not the greatest meta to have. I think they should keep the same pace of gameplay.
Yes.
But, you know, maybe add a punishment to jumping this much.
Yes.
But Mark Rupin has said they're addressing this already. XDefiant is in its preseason, so it's a time for them to figure things.
Yeah, I'll check the game out at season 1, you know, when they fix this issue, to be honest. But at the moment, I'm not gonna play it, to be honest, so.
things out. And I think it's a good sign that they're listening and reacting to player feedback so quickly. So hopefully the balancing only improves. I like that XDefiant.
I only put like what 4 to 3 hours or so of the XDefiant on release date, but I put 20 plus hours or so on the fucking first beta. That's how you know how much of a difference that I enjoyed the first beta a lot more than the final release.
Defiant also puts a greater emphasis on teamwork than Call of Duty does, because you can play as operators from 5 different factions, each with their own abilities, passives, and ultimates. These can support your teammates or disrupt your foes. It's kind of like a hybrid between a class and a hero. Cleaners are the pyrotechnics. They can pull out a flamethrower that insta-kills anyone at short range. They can launch a drone that leaves a trail of fire and explodes. And if you pick this faction, all of your weapons will have incendiary bullets.
What?
Which, when combined with the sniper, is a recipe for some straight bullshit.
Guys, the active game's in our lobby. Oh my god. Oh my
Dude,
god.
that fucking sniper is so... That's like, actually, I hate that. Like, if you get hit, but you make it around a corner, you survive, the fire damage will get you. It's not the most annoying thing in the world, but with how good snipers are, I've gone up against this strategy quite often. The Echelon are the stealthier class that can use camo. Makes sense, they're from Splinter Cell.
Yep.
Libertad are healers, Phantoms are tanks with energy and riot shields, and the DedSec use hacking and disruption. So there's a nice variety of roles and tactics to play around with. The abilities are fun to use, but like I said, they don't turn XDefiant into a hero shooter. It is nice to be able to shield or heal your teammates, provide powerful buffs, or receive those buffs in return. The post-game stats screen is nice too. At the end, you get to see everyone's accomplishments in different categories. And if you didn't do shit, it just says present. You were here. Congratulations, you played the video game. Also, when you lose, the background text just says losers. The ultimates are powerful, but I've yet to play a match where I've gotten to use mine twice, and sometimes not at all. So you're not getting killed by overpowered shit a whole lot in this game. It's cute that you can upvote your teammates based on what they did, and that'll give them extra XP. It's cute. It's fun to give. Now let's talk about the 4-letter acronym that strikes fear and terror into the hearts of all COD fans. SBMM, or Skill-Based Matchmaking. Each year, every Call of Duty fan takes part in the annual Skill-Based Matchmaking Complainathon, where new game comes out, we play it for about a week, and then we start bitching about matchmaking. Well, you know, at first when you hear someone complain about SBMM, your first instinct is sometimes to be like, you're coping, seething, malding, get good, you're bad, uninstall your own life. But I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not the only one who has noticed this pattern.
SBMM, I've said this before and I'll say it again, man. SBMM is I dare say, killing video games as a whole. If SBMM wasn't a thing, I would stream multiplayer.
I've noticed these changes in every COD since Modern Warfare 2019. You start off playing pretty well, then you get some really, really oppressive lobbies where it seems like you're playing with people who understand the most meta strategies and know all the exploits. You just feel like out of your element. Skill-based matchmaking has been a major point of contention in the COD community for the last 5 years, and XDefiant is trying to deliver the same kind of old school Call of Duty fun while addressing that skill-based matchmaking issue. Mark Rubin has made extensive posts providing great arguments for why he doesn't want it in XDefiant. And
Yeah, the same thing as well. Like I don't want it in XDefiant either. But the problem is, it's just the other stuff that's just wrong with it that they need to address. Hopefully season 1 is the one that kind of does. I think if I remember correctly, I think Ubisoft's press or so, or their announcement or so, I think they announced a trailer or so for it, which I'll probably take a look at it and see what's going on with that. So
it's refreshing to see a studio actually address it and try to do something about it. Activision and the Call of Duty developers have avoided addressing SBMM directly for years because they don't need to, because the truth is Call of Duty's revenue and player retention and player counts are bringing in money, so they don't have to change anything. So on paper, XDefiant absolutely could compete with COD for simply providing some of the things that fans have been asking to be put in Call of Duty. XDefiant has a boot camp playlist for players level 25 and under. This is a nice casual way for new players to get a feeling for the gameplay, to learn the maps, and not go up against, you know, tryhards. Outside of this welcome
yeah, but like I already played the game before. You know, that's why I didn't go into the welcome playlist, because I've already played the game before. I spent 20 hours in the beta. So I didn't expect when I go into it, I'm gonna get fucking completely fucking smashed in my fucking face because just because someone had all the attachments unlocked compared to me, I didn't have any of the attachments unlocked. It just gave me just a big unfair advantage. You know, and then the best time to only get like the most EXP or so is to play that one specific game mode, pop your double EXP thing, wait for the weekend EXP, the double EXP weekend as well, and then it'll stack on top of that, have quadruple times. And then in order for you to do that, it's like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, honestly, I'm not. Like, I don't play this game religiously. I play other games as well. So that's the only big difference with me. So it's just kind of like, you're not gonna see me play this game every fucking day, okay? You know, I'm not an FPS. I'm not a like 100% FPS channel, okay? I just want to come in, play a couple games, lose a little bit, win a little bit, have a good time, you know, maybe go on a good streak or something. But no, I don't get that. I just get completely curb stomped completely because I just don't have the attachments unlocked for it. That's just literally it, you know? And like that's it. That's honestly just like that's like my only biggest grime. It's just like it just takes way too long to unlock attachments. But in order for me to get the attachments that I want, I have to force myself to go play a game mode, go play a map that I don't like playing on that map specifically in order for me to grind levels for the weapon. It's just kind of like, I don't want to do that. Like, I really don't. Because it gets frustrating after a while, you know, and then I'm just going to get annoyed and I'm just not going to like it. I'm going to have a frustrating time and I'm just going to just not play it anymore, you know?
Playlist. There is no skill-based matchmaking in XDefiant. We did it, fellas. We did. Well, we didn't do it. The developers did, but we complained enough that somebody listened and decided to do something. I haven't had the same issues I've had in previous Call of Duties. I didn't feel like I had to try to have fun. I just was. I wasn't motivated by kill streaks or, you know, getting 100 headshots, just shooting guys and trying to do the objective and play as a team. Respawns are all...
Yeah, like the core, like I said, the core aspect itself, like just the bare minimum and the mechanics and everything and all that stuff is great. But then the other stuff is just kind of hinders it. And that's just my biggest problem with it.
So a notorious issue in Call of Duty, but in this game, they're surprisingly good on all modes. I mean, you can still get spawn trapped, of course, but I've never had a spawn into instant death moment, which again is something you'll run into when there's powerful kill streaks being used all the time. Sometimes there's hit registration issues and snipers don't flinch enough when they're shot, but there's no like major red flags when it comes to balancing and the core combat.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Has he not seen the what is it, the Echelon class or so, where they spam the fucking Blackbird all the damn time in some of the lobbies? Has he not like not witnessed that? Or has he not witnessed like most of the team on the enemy team having like almost like all healer classes and they just drop their fucking ultimates and they never fucking die or something? Has he like not witnessed some of that stuff? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. There are some balancing issues, okay? All right, let's not beat around the bush here, okay? I think this man is playing like super, I don't know what kind of lobbies he having, but man, let me have some of those lobbies to be honest and change my mind.
And gameplay. There are, however, flaws when it comes to content. For a game that pursues a more casual FPS experience, you'd expect there to be a lot more game modes and variety. Everything is balanced around 6v6, so we don't have BTB or...
Yeah, for me specifically, I thought there would have been like at least more maps, more guns, right? On release date, because, you know, they had a fucking full year of just working, right? You would expect some new maps at least on the release date, but no, it's been the same map since the first beta. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I was kind of expecting a little bit more at least, you know. I don't know, maybe an extra like 5 maps or something like that, you know, maybe 4, you know. So
bigger maps
maybe extra
to play
guns.
on. The modes in the game are fine. I just want there to be more unique stuff. Hotshot is like a funny version of Kill Confirmed, where the more kills you confirm, the faster you go until you become the hotshot. But besides that, there's just not enough wacky fun to be had. I want to see more creative modes and maps in the future, more stuff to interact with. The maps themselves are decent. They don't have any crazy standout designs, but they service the game just fine.
Yeah.
What about progression and custom classes? I'd say it's about the same. Passable, not exemplary. Weapon customization is all right. Again, everything seems a bit generic. It plays great, but I don't feel as satisfied with unlocking new attachments and new guns. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's also because all the weapons are super familiar. You know, where the rocket launchers or underbarrel flamethrowers, throwing knives, fuck it, put a boomerang in this game. I don't know. I really want to see more experimental stuff. Now, I'm not saying you should just straight up copy COD's progression. I'm saying give me better rewards. I don't really feel like I've unlocked anything that made me super excited or something that was going to change a certain playstyle of mine dramatically. There's something about the unlocks that isn't quite hitting the dopamine receptors. Battle Pass progression is painfully slow. It takes like an hour to unlock one tier. Double XP almost feels like regular XP, it's just been halved. And you also have to complete basic challenges to unlock weapons and equipment. So overall, the modes...
Yeah, but the challenge in the... I'm gonna give this to XDefiant. At least the challenges doesn't take you a long time for you to unlock a gun, you know? There are some things in his points that he's just not... I just feel like he hasn't really like fully delved into it, you know? Like one of the things, right, which is like, you know, unlock the challenges yourself for certain guns, right? It's not like that crazy, you know? Like it says right here, you know, just deal 4,000 damage with any assault rifle. It doesn't matter what assault rifle, you know, it's just whatever, you know? Compared to Call of Duty, if you want to unlock like what, a certain gun or so, you have to use the Lockman or so, or you have to use this assault rifle or something. Then you have to use that SMG over there. And then, you know, all this other shit. And, you know, it's just kind of a little bit absurd. You know, I've seen Modern Warfare 3 shit, you know. But most of these are just relatively fucking easy to unlock, you know. It's just the problem is getting attachments for these weapons is what the drag is. And it just feels terrible, to be honest. Unless you're playing a specific game mode, then it'll go faster, and also a specific map, it'll go faster. But overall, it's just, you know.
And you also have to complete basic challenges to unlock weapons and equipment. So overall, the modes and the type of content and the amount of it, the progression, XDefiant does the job. It just doesn't excel at it. Now let's talk about monetization. Who doesn't love a good cosmetic or an in-game store? As a loyal consumer of video games, as somebody who loves consuming. Look at all the consuming I've done. I don't really feel incentivized to spend money on XDefiant. I don't think some of the bundles are worth it. And that's partially a good thing because you're not being tempted with better weapons and shit like, oh, you want to get better at the game? You want to stop sucking ass? Ooh, spend a little money, get this cool weapon. There's none of that. The Battle Pass has like one unlockable weapon and the rest is cosmetic. Here's the thing, I don't really care about the cosmetics yet, and I believe battle passes expire, so FOMO, not good. Do the Halo Infinite, do the Helldiver system, please. It's way better. I would probably spend more money on the game if that were the case. Now, while Ubisoft has been under fire for some of their business decisions lately, it's important to remember that the actual developers of this game, the people who design the product, and those who decide how it's monetized are two radically different groups of people. So I believe in giving XDefiant an honest chance as a game, even if I'm critical of Ubisoft in other ways. I think XDefiant has a lot to offer FPS fans that have grown tired of how try-hard newer games can be. But one thing I think needs to be figured out soon, and easily my biggest critique with XDefiant, is its lack of identity. Now here's the thing, with new franchises there's no built-up expectation, right? So there's a certain amount of leniency you'll give a brand new IP when it comes out. Notice I only say lack of identity, because the truth is being in limbo is certainly preferable to being in hell. I pose this challenge to you, loyal viewer. Describe XDefiant to someone who has never heard of it, without comparing or referencing it to any other specific video games.
Hero shooter.
It's hard, isn't it? Splitgate may have been called Halo with portals and it was unique and fun for a time, but didn't quite have a lot of staying power. What worries me is when so much of your brand recognition relies on other brands. This game kind of relies on people already being familiar with Call of Duty and Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, whatever. Which most people are, don't get me wrong. But the point I'm trying to make is that if Ubisoft wants XDefiant to compete with Call of Duty, they need to be able to like point at parts of it and be like, this is what makes XDefiant. This is what makes our game unique. And that's hard to do without comparing XDefiant to other games. But I'm also a fucking dweeb who talks about video games on the internet for a living. So these complaints may not matter as much to you. Now, out of the games represented in XDefiant, I've only played Splinter Cell, and it's been a while. Still, I'm familiar with Far Cry and Watch Dogs.
You haven't played the one newer Splinter Cell game that they released a while back or so. Blacklist or something? Splinter Cell Blacklist or something?
But I don't recognize any of these operators. Like, who is this Zelda from Far Cry? Is this a known character?
Yeah, no, like 100%, right? Like they should have just like from like look at this. Okay, so they have the cleaners, right? Which the cleaners are from you know, Division, right? I just don't know who the fuck are the wolves. You know, I've never heard of that. I don't know what game they're from.
These operators. Like, who is this Zelda from
Far Cry 6, right? Like, I assume there's like a bunch of people from Far Cry 6, right? Let me see. Freedom Fighters, I guess. What is this? Well, that's fucking hard to see, to be honest. But yeah, they have that, but at least like other different people or so from Far Cry 6. You know, they could have used someone else specifically from Far Cry 6 to, you know, to do this situation, right? To fill in the characters specifically of who, you know. Here it is, Clara Garcia, Juan Cortez. They could have added these guys. They could have definitely added these guys. Look at this. Because I know if people who played Far Cry 6 would automatically like immediately know who these people are, right? I just finished Far Cry 6, I don't even recognize them. Yeah, but then at the end of the day, right, those people who have are so can be like, oh, I know some of these, you know? Like, to be honest, they're more memorable than what we have in XDefiant. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. Who the fuck are these people? I don't know any of these people. I haven't seen any of these people. I haven't even played the game. And I don't even know these generic. They just feel so generic, you know? These feel more generic compared to, you know, compared to, like, you know, this person here, you know? Or compared to fucking Juan Cortez. I think he would have been so cool to see, you know? We probably would have had some cheeky one-liners or so with this guy, you know? But that's just me anyways, you know? I don't even know who these characters are. I don't even know if they're even, like, part of the... Are they even part of the fucking... Like, are they even part of this, like, fucking squad shit thing? Look, we're gonna look at every single name here. Doesn't even have a picture. I guess so, but the problem is that's in XDefiant. That's not really in Far Cry. Where's his Far Cry counterpart? I don't see it here. Doesn't really say, to be honest. Doesn't really say his Far Cry counterpart, you know? Like, these ones specifically don't have, like, their counterpart compared to this guy, you know? I think he would have been more cooler to have as a character, in my personal opinion. I don't know, like, so, like, even in, like I said, like I said before, in Watch Dogs 2, right? In Watch Dogs 2, they could have had the guy with a mask or so, and then the other, you know, the other black individual that's on the cover art or so for the game. Like, they could have had that at least, or brought in the guy from fucking Watch Dogs 1 or so. The one dude or so. What is it? The Asian guy or so? Look at El Tigre. Let's see. How do I even use this? I don't know how to use this here. I'll just go back. El Tigre. George, El Tigre. Yeah, man. I'd say, like, at least some of these are more memorable in my personal opinion. Look at that shit. Yeah, this would have been so much better. Shit. You know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Look at that. Maybe younger version of El Tigre right there. Would have been cool. But but we have generic NPC number 1, generic NPC number 2, and generic NPC number 3. They just like all the characters just don't stand out. They're not. I'm surprised they didn't even add Sam Fisher or something like that in the echelon class or
Far
so.
Cry. Is this a known character? I tried looking her up. I couldn't find anything on this character.
No, they don't know. They really don't exist. These characters do not exist. This is literally their first time ever showing in the game. That's why I'm surprised they didn't use like character models or so from those specific games and just transfer them over to XDefiant. It just would have been better, to be honest. If you're gonna make this like this shared universe, right? This like big old shared universe of like, oh, all of these RIPs are coming into one single game for one massive multiplayer thing. They could have just used the character models from those games and just brought them here, and then that's pretty much it.
Is it a real person? Let me know in the comments below. You know who I do know? Sam Fisher. And
Yeah.
when I see Sam Fisher
Yeah.
over those iconic goggles, that's all it takes for me to look at something and be like, that's Splinter Cell. I don't even know the name of the guy who has the famous, "Do you want to know the definition of insanity?" quote from Far Cry, but
Dude, that would have been so nice if they actually would have brought that guy. If they would have brought that guy from Far Cry 3, oh, dude, it would
know
have
what
been
his
fantastic.
face looks like. XDefiant needs more marketable operators because there's
Yes.
no story. There's not really a main setting. You're not really restricted to anything. That's the thing. Despite taking inspiration from multiple reputable Ubisoft franchises,
Yep.
I don't recognize a single one of these people
Yep.
are operators.
Don't be sad. This is just how it works out sometimes.
Shit, man, you guys have a whole bunch of recognizable characters from Rainbow Six Siege.
Of course.
And they are going to add more factions, so highly likely they will add Siege into this. Not every game has it all figured out on day one. In fact, most games don't have it all figured out on day one, sadly. But I'm gonna keep it real, Ubisoft. If you want XDefiant to stick around, it'll need more than the standard battle pass, the standard seasonal updates, the standard live service promises we've seen in 100 different games before. You're gonna need something new, unique, and fresh. So, can XDefiant compete with Call of Duty? Well, right now they couldn't have released it at a better time, but they could have released it in a better state. I
Yep.
think the game has loads of untapped potential. If you're a fan of Call of Duty or you're looking for a new FPS game,
Yeah, like I said, I like the core aspect of it. Like I honestly generally do. Like I fucking put 20 hours, and I was fucking good at it in those 20 hours. But for some reason, this game just wasn't feeling it for me for some apparent
to
reason.
get good at, I would absolutely check it out. If the developers play their cards right, listen to player feedback,
Yep.
and commit to adding substantial
Yep.
content and getting creative with things, I think they'll discover a better sense of their identity and what makes XDefiant unique. In that sense, I think it can compete with Black Ops 6. The question is, will it? But what do you think? Are you enjoying XDefiant?
Yeah, I played it. I'd only put like 4 hours into it, and I just was not having fun. I even played it with my viewers as well to see if maybe that'll change. That definitely did not. That just made me feel more annoyed about it, to be honest. It's just kind of like I just can't win most of my gunfights just because I don't have any attachments to them. Like the only thing I unlocked for my gun was a red dot. That's all I unlocked from my gun. It was just a fucking red dot. Okay. I'm like, that's like literally the only attachment I unlocked in the spam of the hours that I played or so with XDefiant. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, damn, that's so cool, But like, in order for me to take advantage, right, one of the biggest major issues with it is like I have to play it on the double EXP weekend. I have to play it on a specific game mode on a specific map, and then pop double EXP weapon or so while double EXP weekend is active for me to get the benefit to unlock more attachments for my guns. That's literally the only time it's the best beneficial to do it. But it's just kind of like, what the fuck, dude? I don't want to do that. Just like I'm like, I do work mostly over the weekend, and then Sunday is like the only day I have time to play. If I wanted to play XDefiant, that'd be the only day I'd play XDefiant. So it's just kind of like, it's not worth it for me. So I just don't see it personally, any investment on it. But I'm hoping they fix everything, all the issues or so, at least in season 1 at least. You know, that's just the only thing is what I want them to fix. See, this is a problem because ever since like during the development hell with the game or so, right? Because this game should have been released a lot earlier. But the problem is, right, specifically, one of the big major issues is that behind the scenes or so, they were just having this like weird manhood group or whatever the fuck, some man club or something, right? And then they were just constantly trying to change shit here and there with the game itself. So it was like, it was almost like there was like no fucking vision with it, right? Because they were just trying to copy straight up Call of Duty, you know, just straight up Call of Duty. And then it just wasn't healthy whatsoever. You know, it's not a very healthy work environment if you're trying to do this weird man group club shit. I'm like, get rid of that. You guys are fucking adults. For God's sakes, do your fucking job, okay? All right? Like, honestly, I should not be telling you to do your goddamn job. Honestly. Get rid of the fucking stupid manhood club and do your fucking job and get this game ready and launched and have it good to go. You know, it's just as simple as that. I don't know what the fuck really actually happened behind the scenes, but that was really one of the big major issues that happened or so. And I've been reading stuff here and there about XDefiant from every so often and watch videos and stuff like that. And that was one of the big issues or so during its development crisis itself, when it's getting constantly pushed back, and now we finally got it. I don't know, man. I'm hoping they drop this weird, stupid man club thing that they have at their workspace and just focus on doing the game. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Just make a really good game, and that's pretty much it. It's not hard to make a fucking FPS game, but for some apparent reason, everyone's gotta make it like it's a fucking, like you're making a rocket ship or something. Like, seriously, it's not that hard. For God's sakes, man. There's always some small minor thing that always happens behind the scenes, you know. It's just crazy, to be honest. I can never understand, you know, a place that is a work environment and you have to make a product and you have to make a good product and you have to ship out the product. I think you should be focusing that a lot more compared to, well, you know, Lord or behold, all of that shenanigans. So, but yeah, overall, that's pretty much it. So, anyways. That's just my opinion or so for XDefiant. I don't know where this guy is getting all these casual matches or so where he's not witnessing the most these like, because apparently, right, he hasn't witnessed the echelon, right, the echelon and the healer spamming the spamming ultimates and the spamming abilities and whatnot, right? Especially the echelon class, who has literally a blackbird consistently always active with wall hacks on top of that, you know. Yeah, you know, I've seen it. I've witnessed it. There was like 3 people next to each other. So when they were running or so, when they had the ultimate, and then I saw, you know, they were just spamming. You know, when one finishes it, the other one will activate theirs, and then they would just do the same thing over and over and over again. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion on XDefiant. So I'll check it out when season 1 comes out. Hopefully they fix and address all the issues or so with the preseason. At this very moment, I'm just not having fun with it. I'll check it out, of course, at season 1, you know. I always come back to it anyways. Maybe they'll fix it. Maybe they'll not. You know, if they won't fix it, well, I'm not going to play it. It's just simple as that. So I will definitely be trying out the new Call of Duty on top of that as well, since it is free on Xbox Game Pass. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. Comment, like, subscribe, you know, do all that fancy jazzy thing. And you guys can let me know what you guys think or so about XDefiant. Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? What do you guys feel about it? Do you think they need to address some of the issues that they need to address? And then, are you hopeful that maybe season 1 will fix the issue? I'm pretty hopeful. You know, they're listening to the community, so I'm pretty hopeful maybe they'll fix some of the issues or so, at least in season 1, because, you know, I do want to like it. You know, there's some aspects of it that I do like in general, but it's just like all the rest of the other stuff is just completely hinders it. You know, that's pretty much about it.